Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another indie review. Today we're going to be talking about the Rizen. Before I get into that though, I want to say a quick thank you to my creepy patron peeps. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep, you can follow that link in the description box. There will also be a clickable link at the end of the video. Summary reads. The year is 1955. NATO and the Allied forces have been conducting secret occult experiments in a bid to win the arms race. Now, they have finally succeeded, but what the army has unleashed threatens to tear our world apart. One woman must lead the only survivors past horrors that the military has no way to control and fight to close what should never have been opened. Let's just quickly get into what I liked about this movie. As you can tell from the summary, it was definitely an attempt at a unique, I don't even really want to call it a zombie movie because it's not like, I don't know, the monsters kind of act like zombies or a variation on zombies, or like the undead, but I'll just call them monsters because I feel like that more describes what they are. It's like a zombie monster hybrid or something. But it was an attempt at something unique and different that we haven't seen before, and you know, I appreciated that. And it was also an attempt at making a kick-ass female protagonist. Just note the keywords attempt. And then speaking of the zombie monster hybrids, they did look cool despite me not really knowing exactly what they were. They looked cool. Now on to the dislikes. The biggest and most glaring thing about this movie are the gross inconsistencies specifically related to like the gore and injuries and just general things like that. So I'm going to give you some examples. So our main protagonist, Frances, the woman who is meant to, you know, save the world essentially, repeatedly bludgeons these monsters to death. Like bludgeons, like the first one is with just like a rock, like no bigger than her hand, or like she has like a metal door at one point that she's constantly bludgeoning these monsters in the head to death. So that sort of thing, generally you'll get like blood splatter and, you know, makes a mess, like you're bashing somebody's head in. She does this repeatedly and not a single hair gets out of place. She doesn't have a single speck of blood on her, not on her face, not on her clothes, not on her hands, not even on the weapon. The very first kill, she bludgeons the thing with a rock. Like I said, no bigger than her hand. You even see the rock afterwards, like there's no blood on it, no blood on her hands, and she just like awkwardly rubs her hands off like that. Like there is stuff on her hands. Nothing. And this happens repeatedly in the movie. She doesn't even start to look unkempt until like the last 25 minutes of the movie. It's just completely inconsistent. And there's one part in the movie too where they even cut to the monster that has supposedly just had his head bashed in. Not a single speck of blood on the monster, and his head is perfectly intact. I don't know what she was beating repeatedly, but it wasn't its head apparently. It's just a lot of inconsistencies like that that are not funny. I don't know if they were meant to be, but they're not funny. And it's just, you know, you kind of watch and it's like, I don't know, like I would like to think it's done on purpose for some reason, because it's like, I don't pretend to act like I could make a better movie because, you know, making a movie is hard, but I feel like even somebody like me wouldn't miss something like that. And like, to think of how many people this probably went through. Like, I know it's an indie feature, but multiple people were working on it. Nobody thought to say anything. That's what makes me think maybe it was on purpose, but I don't know what the purpose would have been. And to add on to that, there are really like three main characters. There's the doctor, I'm just gonna call him Doc, I can't remember what his name is, and Frances, and then Briggs. But when we first meet Frances and the doctor, they're being dragged by these monsters down a hallway. And especially the doctor is in like a white lab coat. After all this, not a speck of dust on them. Their clothes look pristine. Same with Frances, like her hair is like done up and stuff. Like she has like a slight updo with her hair, and her hair is perfectly fine. After being dragged, her head was supposedly being dragged on the ground. It was just like, I don't know, it was just I know I'm going on and on about these, but it's just it almost just made me upset that like nobody thought to follow up on that, or nobody was watching it and said, hey, you know, this doesn't make any sense that she just got dragged through a hallway and her clothes look neatly pressed and clean, and she just bludgeoned this monster's head in and she doesn't even have blood on her hands. Nobody thought to point that out. And again, if it was done on purpose, I can't figure out the reason why. Maybe somebody else can tell me, but I can't figure it out. The writing, the dialogue, not all the time, but at times was really awkward. And I think a lot of it had to do with like, there would be these like just awkward pauses, which were like, I think meant to be kind of like reactions, like a character said something and another character was reacting. The way it played out, it was like, it took longer than it needed to. So it'd be like, cut to this character who says something, cut to the other character who doesn't say anything, but like reacts with their face, you know, and it's just awkward and weird. And I feel like some of the jokes, like, and this is more personal than anything else, even though this is all my opinion anyway, but the jokes just for me did not work. And I think I think it's mostly because a lot of those inconsistencies I talked about kick off the movie. So I was already kind of just like, I don't know about this movie now. I don't know what, you know, doesn't seem like it's, you know, well thought out. So like the jokes for me, I maybe might have laughed at before, but didn't find it funny, you know, after I kind of decided that I didn't like the movie. In the end, I'm not gonna give away the end. I don't even know that I could really explain what happens, but they really, it's like they explain kind of what's supposed to be going on, but at the same time, they don't explain what was going on. You know, and by the end of the movie, I just like was kind of like, so I sat through that whole thing and have no idea what happened at the end. No idea. I think it was too complicated is what it was. I think it was a good attempt at a unique story, but it just got too complicated. Too complicated. And it was repetitive. So basically our three characters kind of wake up in this underground bunker sort of thing, which is like a series of hallways apparently, and it's just a lot of repetitive, like slowly walk down the hallway, run into a monster, kill the monsters. Frances has a flashback to something about her life previous to this. Walk down the hallway, run into a monster, kill the monster. Frances has a flashback to, like, really repetitive. I think it's clear if you've gotten this far in the video that this was not worth watching. I don't recommend it. I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5. On IMDb, it has a 3.7 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, doesn't have a critic score, and it doesn't have many reviews from audience members, but it has a 0% right now, but I think it's only out of like 5 people or something like that. And there's nothing on Roger Ebert. I was able to see this because I had a screener link to it. The only place I could find to watch it right now is on YouTube for $3. I don't know, I would recommend you spending that money on it, but I will leave the link in the description box regardless. So if you've seen The Rizen, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. You can find me at all the normal social media places. The links for those are in the description box. You can also find me on my blog at nightmaremaven.com. Over there right now, I revisited The Pyramid, so you can go and read that review right now if you want. You can also find me on morbidlybeautiful.com as a contributing writer. I recently finished an article kind of about the demonetization on YouTube and how it affects horror channels, and kind of about the Logan Paul thing. So you can go, I don't know when that'll be up. I'll definitely be promoting it when it goes up on the website. So look for that. And you can also find me at you can also find me on patreon.com/nightmaremaven if you want to support the channel. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here and become a creepy peep today. I post videos Monday through Friday. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye!